Yo, let's talk about Arc Raiders a bit. This game has had quite a few twists as of late. First, it was a PvE survival looter shooter, kind of like Destiny 2, I would assume. Then they switched up the formula and they threw PvE into the mix, changing it to what we call in this day and age an extraction shooter, all right? And now we're all sitting here wondering, what's next? Will they add a battle royale into the game one day and call it a day? No, I'm kidding. Of course they're not. But jokes aside, I do think the shift to PvE was the right call, and I'm gonna tell you why. That said though, I also think a PvE only mode would be a dope addition. Let's break it down and let's talk about how this game can truly deliver something made for everyone. First off, let's talk about why the move to an extraction shooter is a brilliant one. Here's the thing about PvE. It keeps you on your toes. Games like this thrive on unpredictability. Sure, you can plan out your run, strategize your loot routes, and coordinate with your squad, but the second another team shows up, chaos. Beautiful, adrenaline-pumping chaos. It's that randomness that keeps players coming back for more. Every encounter feels unique and no two matches are ever the same. But the real kicker, the stakes. High stakes gameplay makes every decision matter. Do you push that team for their loot or play it safe and get on up out of there via extraction? It's like gambling, but instead of losing your paycheck, you're just losing some virtual loot. And hey, that kind of tension is what keeps us hooked, even if it also gives us a few gray hairs here or there. Now, I gotta discuss why a PvE only mode deserves a spot here, okay? Not every gaming session needs to feel like the Hunger Games, yo. Sometimes you just wanna vibe out. A dedicated PvE mode would let players experience the game's world, mechanics, and loot systems without sweating through their shirts, yo. But even with that being said, this doesn't mean it has to be easy. They can ramp up the AI difficulty, add more enemy density, throw in a mini boss or two for good measure, and boom, you got yourself a challenging PvE experience that doesn't need PvP to shine. By the way, don't underestimate how rewarding PvE runs can be. Imagine extracting with a backpack full of loot, knowing you earned every piece of it by outsmarting the AI in some capacity. It's pretty satisfying, low pressure, and honestly, a great way to decompress after a long day of probably getting slammed at work or in the PvE side of things. Another benefit of a PvE mode would be having the ability to restock and rebuild without the stress. Yo, let's be real for a second here. Sometimes you just need a break. Maybe you had a rough run in PvE and now your stash is emptier than a grocery store on payday. A PvE mode will give players the chance to rebuild their arsenal without consistently looking over their shoulders. It's like a safe zone, you know, again, a chance to restock, regroup, and maybe even experiment with new gear or strategies without the risk of getting ambushed by some sniper that's just camping out yonder. Think of it as a bit of a palate cleanser, you know? It doesn't replace the PvE mode, it complements it. You get the best of both worlds, high stakes action when you want it, and chill methodical gameplay when you don't. Yo, I just thought about this. A cool sidebar that a PvE only mode can contribute to is actually building community through PvE. Picture this. You're on a PvE run, taking out some AI, and then boom, surprise, you bump into another player using proximity chat, if it does end up being in the game. You all decide to team up, maybe exchange some loot, help each other take down a tough enemy, or just chat about how bad the AI is or something, right? I don't know. Sometimes AI can be mad goofy, right? This kind of interaction could be the start of something bigger. You might have just found your next homie for those PvE runs, or have just made a new gaming homie in general. It's a low pressure way to connect with other players and build relationships without the constant threat of betrayal. And let's be honest, games that encourage these kinds of organic social interactions, they always feel more alive, you know? To build on top of that, bringing a PvE mode into the mix can help with player retention and newcomer appeal too. Let's face it, jumping into a PvE game as a newbie can be mad brutal. You spend 15 minutes looting only to get ambushed by a team that's been playing since the first playtest. It's not exactly welcoming, you know? A PvE mode could act as a training ground. New players could learn the ropes, get comfortable with the mechanics, and build up their loot stash before diving into the shark-infested waters, also known as PvE. It's like the kiddie pool before you jump into the deep end. And for veterans of the game, it's a great place to warm up, try out new strategies and things of that nature without the pressure of competing against other sweats. Now, I want to talk about potential opportunities for PvE events. A PvE mode opens the door for some seriously dope events. Imagine some time-limited challenges like raids where you could jump in with a group of friends and have to take down this massive boss for some exclusive loot, or maybe there's a special mode where enemy density is cranked up to 10,000 and you have to survive waves of increasingly difficult AI to get some mad dope loot. These events could keep the PvE mode feeling fresh and exciting while giving players other reasons to log in regularly. Plus, who doesn't love a good raid boss? You know what I'm saying? It's a win-win for everyone, and it shows that the PvE does not have to play a second fiddle to the PvPvE. It can stand on its own and add real value to the game. At the end of the day though, it all comes down to choice and preference. Some days you're in the mood for chaotic, unpredictable madness, also known as PvPvE. Other days you just want to chill, explore, maybe find some loot without the constant threat of being third party while you talk with your homies in Discord. Giving players the options to switch between these modes means that the game appeals to a wider audience. And let's not forget, more options will equal more happy players. Whether you're a sweat who loves the tension of the PvPvE, or you're a casual who just wants to explore a beautifully crafted world, Arc Raiders could have something for everyone. And to keep it a buck with you all, that's how you build the game with staying power. But enough of me rambling, what do you all think? Was the shift to an extraction shooter, aka PvPvE, the right call? And do you agree that a PvE only mode would make Arc Raiders even better? Personally, I think it's a no-brainer. Just give us both, right? More options, more fun, more reasons to keep playing. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you team extraction shooter, PvPvE, or are you team PvE? Or are you just here to hang out in Arc Raiders? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Before you head out, don't forget to do all the good stuff like liking, subscribing for much more content to come in the near future. And if you really rock with the kid, hit the bell so you don't miss my next rant or deep dive. I don't know. I just like talking. But until then, remain relentless and I'll catch you all in the next one.